Hey people, welcome to my people. My name is Jackie, and today my view is on this painting by Klimt, which is part two of the last one, which was a different painting. So I looked up water sprites, and I found another painting by Klimt, which is perfect for the theme of my theory of life. So if you didn't see part one, go back and see part one for where I talk about it. But basically, it is the theory of where we are and what we are. And as you can see, this illustrates it again perfectly and even better. But basically, we are the semen that came in to supposedly destroy everything, but the semen does not come in to destroy. The semen comes in to find the egg, and rape the egg. So that's actually part of the one of those myths that's out there. And I'm not going to name the different myths and try to name the different gods and the different creatures that have been named out there, because that's not my purpose. But basically, we've been told that semen came in, destroyed everything. The reason everything is destroyed, it's their fault, and they came in and or they, some other creatures possibly came in and wanted to mate with human women, and they created huge giants, and all those different stories that are being told. And basically, they're all telling the same thing, is that we came in as semen, or our ancestors did anyway. And only one semen, maybe two, maybe three, it's rare, will reach its goal of raping the human woman, which is basically the egg, and creating a giant. So, which is a baby. So that comes to the conclusion that we are inside a woman's vagina or womb. Well, not the womb. We would have succeeded. We'd be turning into a big baby right now if we had succeeded into the womb. So we didn't. So we're somewhere in the canal, in between. And were descendants of the semen that did not succeed, but is still around. And if you know the functioning of the woman's system, is that every month it gets cleansed out, washed out with, the period. And so, like I said on the other video, at the end of every sentence, they try to make us think we're in prison, but we're not. At the end of every sentence, there's a period. So at the end of every period, to them a period is what? It's a length of time, and at the end of every period, there's a reset, and so we get flooded, which is normal. Everything is normal. Everything is biology. And so here's this painting, which, I'm just going to add some gold in honor of Klimt, but I don't paint and do much painting at the same time, drawing at the same time as I talk. I'd rather talk about it, and that is my focus. It's what these represent. And so, it's funny because I found this after the last video, so I didn't even know. I mean, it's just a coincidence that it's Klimt again. Obviously, he was on to something, the same theory. And these obviously look like semen on a fashion parade, and so that's funny because it just coincides with what I did with the last painting, where I turned that the stick guy into, fashionable, cool dude. And so then I also um, turn the water into ocean water because it's salt water, right? Semen comes in salt water. And they don't ask the egg if they can reproduce with the egg. They take it with force. So that's what that's about, you know? And then those that remain, well, it's kind of bacteria, I guess you would say, right? And so it's normal that the vagina would come up with some form of antibody that should come after this bacteria that keeps reproducing, which is us. So that's why the so-called gods that are coming after us, or whatever they are, uh, like I said, the Babylon language needs to be deciphered. There's so many different languages, and I think everybody can do it in their own language. But as soon as you know two languages, then you can do it, you know, mix in the two languages. And in French, for one thing, matrix is matrice, but it's the reproductive system. It's a word for it. So matrix is literally the woman's reproductive system, and we know we are in the matrix. And also, so there are antibodies, but also how many women don't send in antibodies? Like, for instance, they don't want to get pregnant, so there would be um, antibodies. But it also says in the Bible and the myths and all that demons look just like humans, or they can shapeshift, or whatever. So they're out there. It's time to believe all that stuff and to live accordingly. You should really just follow the one God, the one creator of all. Um, that will is the only God that can guide you through this life as bacteria, you know. And also, I mean, it answers so many questions, and it raises so many questions, and the symbols are, you know, always right there. And so here, this face looks like kind of a male face. Again, it's not, be careful. Everything has its purpose, and the messages and the symbols all have a way of taking you to the same place. So like the one God creator, he uses the same symbols to bring you to him or her, because it's him, her together. And so, which is why, you know, this is more like a hermaphrodite, you know, and we've been having that put in our faces a lot lately, male, female. So that's one of my big questions is, you know, the sperm, we can't see it. We can't see the sperm. It's so tiny under a microscope, we can't even see it. How do we know that the gender comes from the sperm? So this theory might somehow answer it, but I'm not sure yet, because of the fact that it's about the periods and the reset and all that. So we're definitely in the female reproductive system. But does the egg determine, does the egg carry the female gender, and does the sperm carry the male gender? The sperm carries both. Are they both together, and then, you know, like hermaphrodites until they reach the egg, and then they become the gender, and the egg ends up determining the gender? It's big question. I do not know. I really don't know what to think of that. So I would love to have people's opinion on it. So many things that tell me that I'm on the right track with this theory. That I'm completely convinced. Actually, I'm completely convinced about this theory, 100%. That's why I'm putting it out there, and I would love to have people's opinion. And I'm going to continue with it because there's so much more about it, and so many questions, so many answers, so many questions. So yeah, and one thing is, it does bring light to why it's so important for a woman to be careful who she sleeps with, because, you know, when we think about it, if we are all sperm, look at I always thought there was a gap between races. I mean, between black people and white people, there's a huge gap. Well, now this answers that, because the woman inside which we are, she slept with a black man, she slept with a white man, she slept with all the races. So this woman is not racist, yet the fact that she sleeps with so many different races, or even different men, just different men, makes it all different tribes who have a hard time living together as one. And everything is inside us, outside of us is the same as inside of us. It's all us. So take it that way. Also, when they say that the vagina is so pure and perfect and beautiful uh, before sex, and how true is that now? That is so true, because if you look at all that's been destroyed, and don't forget the gods, the so-called gods, I'm going to say that, the so-called um, they are making us think that they are the ones in power, that they're the ones destroying everything. In some ways they are, because they're convincing us to do this stupid stuff that we do, like sleep around, and also take things to make us supposedly look better or feel better, or prevent things, so like preventing to get pregnant and taking spermicide. So if we're sperm, there's spermicide out there. There might be spermicide 1 month, in somebody's life, somebody's 1 month life, which is a whole lifetime for us. And but there's also, the fallen angels. They are now, everybody seems to be getting the word that they are definitely in Hollywood, and they're holding all the strings, and they're puppeteers. We're in the Pinocchio Funland, And so the fallen angels, Los Angeles, the city of the angels, Hollywood with their magic wand, convincing us to do stupid things. But California is also where Silicon Valley is, where most of the rich people, everything rich is there, comes from there. And I mean, silicon. They also say there's some form of gods out here. The so-called they are made of silicon, and so something about how they have to find a body, or different kind of stuff. They're not made from here, but yeah, think about it. We do have insert a lot of silicone into our bodies for different reasons that we've been convinced to do by none other than the television, where they tell us the vision. And we need to take back our vision and create better visions, more positive, and shut off the TV. Don't even listen to them anymore, because they really have no power. They just make us think they have power. So they convince us to do things. Don't believe in that crap where they say they have to tell us before they do it, and then we accept it or we don't. The way we accept it is to believe that rule there, and then to repeat it onto other people because of hierarchy and all that. So we can't defend ourselves against them just because they warned us that that's what they were going to do. And you know that. So that's not a rule. It seems it came from a movie. It's not in a Bible. It's not in sacred text, unless you tell me otherwise. But sacred text, what are they? They give us the sacred text too. So to me, the rule is, and always has been, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. So if you follow the rule of they have to tell us what they're doing so we can defend ourselves, it's completely the opposite of the rule that we should follow. The law, it's a law. You can't change a law. A rule you can break. A law you cannot change. It's the law of the universe. And so if you believe in that, and then you end up doing it yourself, thinking, well, then I can repeat, copycats. Most people copy that, what they do, what the so-called they do, they copy it. And then they say, well, it's not my fault, somebody else, blah, 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 the powers that be, blah, blah, blah. But if you copy it, then you're saying that you're okay with it. That's why they tell you what they're going to do. Because if you copy those acts that they tell you they're going to do, and you copy them onto someone else, that means you've accepted it. You've accepted that they would do that onto you. But I'm still not sure that they actually do the things that they say they do. I know that the humans do it around me, those around me. They do horrible things that they've seen on TV, the television. I told them to do it. It's not an excuse, people. Not an excuse. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you. See you, people.